Summer could be a good time to encourage teenagers to put down their phones and to enjoy some outdoor time. 50% of teens report that they feel addicted to their cell phones. A new study in the Journal of Child Development shows nighttime usage of cell phones can increase anxiety and depression in teenagers and even reduce self-esteem. This is the first study that shows a direct link between screen time and mental health. Researchers note that rates of anxiety and depression in young people have actually risen over 70% over the past couple of decades. Psychologist and CBS News contributor Lisa Damour is here. Welcome, Lisa.
Good morning.
My guru, parenting guru. I always get the best advice from Lisa, always. But this is fascinating because it's the first time it's looked at nighttime cell use and depression.
What's important about this study is that it shows us a pathway. We've suspected that there's a problem here. We've seen correlational studies. But this shows us that teens using their phones late at night leads to disrupted sleep, which leads to increased depression, emotional fragility, and sometimes acting out.
Does it matter what they're doing with their phones? If it's social media, if they're just texting, does that make a difference?
Well, we know that there are some things teenagers can do that are upsetting to them. But what's important about this study is even if they're having a great time, even if they're being super appropriate on their phone, if the phone is getting in the way of the sleep they need, it still causes harm.
So this is a constant battle for many parents, right, as you know. So the question is what the advice from the experts then is on what to do with it.
So this is really hard. I will not say there are simple solutions. Yeah. So the first thing you can do is to try to get out in front of it when your kids are little. So put a power strip in your bedroom, have all the technology charge in the parents' room overnight, make that the default family habit. You will lose ground on this when you have a teenager, but if that's the default, it's easier to keep that ground. I think then the other thing is we have to model good habits. We have to be good about our own phones and our own technology and our own sleep. And then we can say to teenagers, look, if I'm protecting my sleep and not protecting yours, it would be like I got in the car and put on my seatbelt, but didn't ask you to put on your seatbelt. We need this.
I was saying to you before, isn't it, this should be a problem for all of us. This isn't just a teenage problem,
This
right?
is not just a teenage problem. I mean, in many ways, adults are as deep in as their teens these days. But again, that's a place where we can say, look, I empathize. I know how hard it is to put down the phone. So we're not creating these rules for you, we're creating these rules for everybody.
And this study looks particularly at teenage girls. It's very troubling for them as well. Why is that?
So one of the things we know from the research, and this goes way back, is that teenage girls get less sleep than teenage boys. And this is long before technology. And we think it's because they hit puberty earlier. So what this new study makes us much more concerned about is sleep is already fragile for teenage girls. So we want to make sure that technology doesn't interfere with any teenager's sleep, but we want to keep a special eye on the girls because we are seeing very high rates of depression.
Look at those average hours spent on entertainment media. 9 hours. And that's not just for the teens, that's for the adults too.
That might be even
higher.
Which is the whole point, because we think we're setting a good example, and then we turn around and we're just looking at our screens too, right?
So it's one of those things where everybody needs electronic curfews. And I think we can sort of just say these are universal rules.
You said before, it doesn't matter social media or texting or what they're doing on the phone, but should we be limiting how much time teenagers are spending on social media?
Yeah. I mean, I think the way to think about it is we don't want technology to get in the way of the things that promote health for teenagers. So that's sleep, which they actually need 9 hours a night, which in the summer is probably their best chance of getting that. They need in-time person with real human beings. They need to be working and learning and growing. They need to be physically active. If they aren't doing those things because they're on social media, then they're on social media too much.
Lately, maybe we can all stay off social media a little bit more.
Invest $10 in an alarm clock and plug everything down.
The dream machine. Bring back the dream machine.
9 hours of sleep sounds so impossible and amazing.
I know. It's what biology says, though.
Lisa Damour, thank you very much.
You bet.